Hi, in this tutorial I'll be showcasing how to use Gcode Mesh in Blender. First, you'll find these in the downloads after purchasing the add-on. Just extract this zip file. I'm using Blender 5.0 beta here, so I'll use the release from 4.2 to 5.0. You can just drag and drop this zip file into your viewport, click OK, and you'll install the add-on. Now to import .gcode files, you can just go to File, Import, and you'll have Gcode to Mesh. Or you can have your File Explorer open, and you can just drag and drop your .gcode files into the viewport to import them. We have a few options here. I'll just click Convert to Mesh for now. And we will have the imported geometry in the viewport. The scrap print is a 2-color print. So as you can see, we have multi-color support. We're still early and we need testing and your feedback to improve the add-on. Now you see these layers here, like an actual 3D printed geometry, which is created from the .gcode toolpath, exactly like a 3D printer. Now if I import another .gcode file, you see we have a few different options. Animation option adds a 3D printing animation following the Gcode like an actual 3D printer. So if I click Convert to Mesh, I will have this tool head added. I'm at frame 1, so nothing is printed yet. And if I click spacebar to play the animation, you'll find this starting to print. Let me move this crap out of the way. And now it's starting to print like an actual 3D printer. And by default, the animation duration is 10,000 frames. If I select the 3D printed mesh and go to the modifiers tab, you'll find the animation duration adjustable in the modifier. I can, for example, make it 1000 frames to make it a lot faster. And now you have a mesh that you can light and set up and make a time lapse. Now as for the rest of the settings, if I import this Cyberpunk support, let me just import it first. Of course it has its animation, so let me move it out of the way, and if I go to the end of the animation, you will see this file is a robot print with supports included. So if I delete it and re-import it again and click separate supports, you will find it's imported now with the supports as a different mesh, and both have their animation separately. And if I delete this and re-import this same file with the option to ignore supports, you will find that it comes in clean without any supports geometry at all, just a 3D print of the mesh itself. If I go into material preview mode, you'll find that this is white and this is the fallback color. If no colors are detected in the Gcode, we just assign it a white color. Now about the material, you can find the 3D printed material is assigned in the geometry node setup. So if I want to change these colors, I can just remove this 3D print material, create a new material in the shader, select any color you want. Let me, for example, select this golden color. And then you can assign it in the geometry node modifier. Of course, you can render this in Eevee or in cycles. Now these nozzle diameter and layer height settings are the same settings found here when importing a .gcode mesh, so you can adjust them on the fly for the mesh itself. So if I import this with 0.4 nozzle diameter and 0.2 layer height, I can come to the geometry node setup at any time and change the nozzle diameter to be 0.06 millimeter, for example. You will notice that this nozzle diameter expands the geometry horizontally. So let me try 0.8 millimeter. It makes it thicker horizontally. And the layer height, if I try 0.4 millimeter, it will expand the geometry vertically like a true filament layer height and nozzle diameter. Now, finally, we have the bevel settings. If I remove the rest of the settings and import this first, on this mesh, if I click F9 before doing anything else to bring back the options menu, you will find these bevel options. Bevel angle is a control for beveling sharp corners. So here we have very sharp corners, and if I click F9 again and select this to be 30 degrees, I will have all the corners beveled, and I can control the bevel segments, make it 3 or 4 for a smoother look, and I can also widen the bevel area to have a more curvy edge. The add-on doesn't only work with .gcode file. You can import .gcode or import .bgcode. it will convert them and import them like a normal .gcode file. And if you have .gcode.3mf, that works as well. And if you have multiple plates inside one .gcode.3mf, the add-on will extract each plate and import it separately into its own mesh. As you see, the 3 plates from that .gcode.3mf are imported separately, and I could have ignored this support geometry or separated it. Now keep in mind, this is only vertices and edges. The filament geometry is from the geometry nodes modifier. So if you want to modify this print to, for example, remove this wipe geometry, you can just go into edit mode, select vertices in wireframe mode, and delete the parts that you do not want. And now you have only your actual mesh. Also, when adding an animation, you will find this toolhead geometry, which is just a simple toolhead attached with the animation. You will find it's attached to the scene hidden in the render and viewport. If I bring it back in the viewport, I can assign it any material I need to change its look, and I can also go into edit mode to modify the geometry or replace it entirely with a different toolhead. But if you want to add a different toolhead of your own, just make sure the only requirement is that the end of the toolhead tab is exactly at the world origin 000. That's it for the add-on. This is version 0.1, so I'm looking for feedback to improve this add-on in all aspects. Please share this add-on with your 3D printing friends and mention me on Twitter with what you create with this. Don't forget to leave your feedback in the comments and enjoy.